The prince born without a reflection. In the golden kingdom of 𝘗𝘳𝘪𝘯𝘬, mirrors were treasured objects, believed to reflect not just faces but truth itself. In 𝘗𝘳𝘪𝘯𝘬, mirrors were sacred. They hung in palace halls, temples, and schools everywhere. Elders said mirrors revealed the soul's harmony with the world. Queen 𝘗𝘪𝘯 gave birth to a baby boy. Bells rang, drums echoed, and the palace filled with joy. The prince was named 𝘗𝘪𝘀. As tradition demanded, the newborn was placed before the sacred royal mirror. The mirror reflected the palace, the lamps, the gathered faces, but where the prince should have been, there was nothing. Silence fell across the hall. No crack appeared on the mirror. No darkness spread. It simply refused to show the child. King Virendra, strong and just, ordered silence. "My son is real. His worth is not decided by glass or superstition," he declared. Queen 𝘗𝘗𝘪𝘯, gentle and wise, held the infant close, filling his nights with lullabies and warmth. Still, when the palace slept, as 𝘗𝘪𝘀 grew, the mystery grew with him. Every mirror showed nothing where his face should be. Water reflected the sky but not him. Glass showed rooms but never 𝘗𝘗𝘀. Servants avoided mirrors or vessels when he entered a room and kitchen. Children whispered, "He is the hollow prince." Priests debated whether he was cursed or chosen. 𝘗𝘗𝘀 himself learned early not to look. When he did, all he saw was absence. No face, no eyes, no proof that he existed. Despite the whispers, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 was raised as a prince. 𝘗𝘗𝘀 trained harder than any royal before him. He learned swordplay from Commander Rudran, who respected discipline above superstition. He learned history from Acharya Somesh, who taught that identity was shaped by choices, not birth. He learned compassion from his mother. He walked among villagers in disguise, helping the poor alongside his mother. Yet no achievement filled the emptiness within. One question haunted him constantly. "Who am I, if I cannot see myself? How do I rule others?" he once asked his mother. "If I cannot even see myself?" 𝘗𝘗𝘪𝘯 answered softly, "Perhaps you are meant to know yourself before seeing yourself." 𝘗𝘗𝘀 did not understand, but he did not slept and thinks for a long time on that night. At 16, during the festival of 1,000 lamps, when the kingdom gathered in celebration, disaster struck. A visiting noble mocked him publicly, holding up a mirror before the gathered crowd. "Where is your prince?" The man laughed. "I see only air." The laughter cut deeper than steel. The crowd gasped. 𝘗𝘗𝘀 ran back to the palace. He felt the ground vanish beneath his feet. Shame burned through him not because of the mirror, but because he had begun to believe it. That night, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 stood alone in the hall of mirrors, hundreds of reflections staring back at him, all empty. "I am real," he shouted. His voice echoed, but the mirrors remained silent. Something inside him broke. That night, before the lamps burned out, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 made a choice. Before dawn, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 removed his royal insignia, left behind his sword, and slipped out of the palace gates. Before dawn, he walked out of the palace gates, not as a prince, not as an heir, but as a young soul searching for truth. Beyond the palace, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 discovered a world that did not bow. In the village of 𝘞𝘪𝘯𝘬, he worked as a helper for an old potter named 𝘞𝘗𝘮. His hands grew rough with clay and labor. "Clay doesn't care who you are," 𝘞𝘮 said, "only how steady your hands are. It only listens to steady, honest hands." 𝘗𝘗𝘀 learned patience. In the fields, he helped farmers rebuild after floods. He learned humility. In the forests, he saved a child trapped under a fallen tree, lifting it with strength born of desperation. He learned courage. At night, by rivers and campfires, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 finally spoke his truth to strangers who listened without judgment. For the first time, he was not the prince without a reflection. He was simply 𝘗𝘗𝘀. And for the first time, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 felt whole. Months later, deep in the hills, 𝘗𝘗𝘀 heard of a woman called 𝘗𝘗𝘀, the mirror keeper, an ancient guardian said to know the language of reflections. Her dwelling was a cave, filled with still water, instead of glass. "You seek your reflection," she said before he spoke. 𝘗𝘗𝘀 shook his head. "No, I seek myself," 𝘗𝘗𝘀 replied. 𝘗𝘗𝘀 smiled. "Then look at here." She led him to a pool. Ariv knelt. Once again, nothing. No mirror will show you until you stop asking what you are missing, 𝘰𝘬𝘧𝘭𝘦𝘤𝘵 said. Until you stop asking what you lack and start giving who you are. She handed him a simple mirror and pointed toward the kingdom. Return to your people, not as a prince seeking proof, but as a human offering truth. When Ariv returned to 𝘰𝘬𝘧𝘭𝘦𝘤𝘵, the kingdom was fractured by fear and doubt. The noble who mocked the prince spread fear. Borders weakened. People lost trust. When Ariv returned, dressed as a traveler, few recognized him. He did not announce himself. Instead, he listened. He settled disputes. He protected the weak. He spoke honestly, even when it cost him safety. Slowly, hope returned. The people began calling him the unseen guardian. King Virendra and Queen Mihira watched, tears in their eyes, hoping. Ariv felt a sense of completeness he never knew in the palace. During the next festival of 1,000 lamps, Ariv stood once more before the grand mirror, this time in plain clothes. The king and queen watched, tears in their eyes. Ariv did not demand anything. He simply stood calm, whole, unafraid. The mirror shimmered, and for the first time it reflected him. Not crowned, not perfect, but true. Ariv became king not because of blood but because of trust. He ordered mirrors removed from judgment halls and placed instead in schools. Let children learn who they are, he said, before the world tells them who to be. And though mirrors now reflected him clearly, Ariv rarely looked. He no longer needed proof. True identity is not discovered in reflections, but revealed through actions.